Karina baby, good morning. Today I'm going to read you books for the third. It's The Man in the Moon. The man in the moon, in a hot air balloon, came down to see the queen. But the queen was away for a year and a day riding her sewing machine. The man in the moon went around the world and found the queen in Spain. So they flew the balloon back up to the moon and never came back again. Imagine going to the moon and all the beautiful things you'd see on it. The craters and walking, kind of floating. It'd be so much fun, right? Alright, so this is an old English poem that we're starting off with today as I look at it. It's called Leetla, Giorgio, Washeenton, and it's spelled Washeenton. You know, what for e'er school keep out, does holiday my son. Well, then I gotten tell you about dis Giorgio Washeenton. Well, Giorgio was a little kin, as leaves long time ago, and he gone school for learn to read and write, his name you know. He mucha like for going to school and learnin' hard all day, because he not get time for fool with daddy kins and play. Well, what the cold day we Giorgio Elsteiny surveyo small, the start from home, but he as no show up in school at all. Oh my, he's poppy gotty mad. And so he tells he wife, some little boy as gone feel bad today, you bats my life. But then he got a stack, he gotten out in the snow, and lettin' all around forseek de Leland Giorgio. Hey, what ye think first thee he see, where Leland boy he strain, all tangled up e cherry tree, whether hat chart e hen's hit, en he's hen. Ha, what you do, his poppy say, what ye burst in wool, and stay away like these for play, absent for good in school. The boy is stay, I no can lie, and at I speakin' true. I stay away from school for try, and got some wood for you. I'm thinking these cherry trees as good size for chop, and so I cut 'em down, you see, for gettin' help, my pop. He's pop, he no can get a mad, but looks please and say, a leedy boy, I am so glad you taken holiday. Is good for Leland boy, you see, for be so bright and tryin', for he help his papa, so Dan be his granddad man Bimbe, so now you got a holiday. At S.E. good, you say, for you goin' da some way, like Leland Giorgio. Don't play so much, but just stop, elf you want be some good, just help your poor old pop by carrying home some wood, and maybe so like Giorgio you'll grow for be so great. You gotta be the president of these United States. Look at this. Look at the spelling of everything. It's definitely old English. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? It's crazy. It is pretty cool. Okay, young Washeenton. 'Tis thee the muskin, black in the peep. Sling your rifle across your back, up and follow the mountain track, tread the Indian trail. North and west, in the road we fare, towards the forest of Frenchmen where peace or war, To the world we bear life and death in the scale. And the leaves of November are dry on the ground, and the shelves of Virginia are gathering and bound. Her fellows are glad with the cry of the hound. The partridges wear in the fern, but deep are the forests, and the kin and the foes, where Monegala and wildness floors. We've labored the pearls and triumphs and snow to conquer before we return. Hall and council room, farm and chase, coat of scarlet and frill and lace, all the elegant things in place, joy in these if ye can. Mine be hunting, skirt, knife, and gun. Camp aglow and the shattered run. Friend and foe in the checkered sun. That the life for men. Next is George Washington. Say hey for bold George Washington, that jolly British tar. King George famous, admired from Hull to Zanzibar. No, wait a minute, something wrong. George wished to sail the foam, but when his mother taught a gust, the George shining up a mast, her tears and protests flowed so fast that George remained at home. Sing ho for grave Washington, the steed Virginia Square, who farms his fields and hunts his hounds and aims at nothing higher. Stop, stop, I'm going the wrong again. George liked to live on farms, but when the colonials agreed they could and should and would be freed, that called on George to do the deed, and George cried, shoulders, arms. Sing high for Empire Washington, that hero of renown, who freed the lands of the British rule to win the golden crown. No, no, that's what George might have won, but didn't, for he said, there's not much point about a king. They're pretty, but they're apt to string. And for crowns, the heavy thing would only hurt my head. Sing ho for our George Washington. At last, I've got it straight. The first in war, the first in peace, the goodly and the great. But when you think about him now, from here to Valley Forge, remember this, he might have been a highly different specimen, and where on earth would we be then? I'm glad that George was George. Baby, every single person is who they are for a reason, right? So you don't want to copycat your life or yourself after somebody else. You want to be exactly who you are meant to be. As long as you're not hurting yourself, you're not hurting anyone else, and no one else is hurting you, right? You want to be who you are. You want to love yourself, and you want to like the books that you like. You want to like the music that you like. You want to like the movies that you like. You want to like the activities that you like when you go out and you watch a movie at the park, or you go out and see the bubble guy, or you go out and do whatever it is that you're doing. You want to have your type of courageousness. You want to have your type of self. You want to have your core self and your core beliefs, and you don't want to give up who you are just because somebody else might think it's different or not like them. It's okay to be yourself. It's okay to think for yourself. It's okay to, I want you to just be yourself, honey, because I had you, and you are perfect. You were perfect from the moment that you were born. Like, I'm looking at a photo of you right now, and you were minutes old. You were an hour old in that photo, not even. And you're gorgeous, and you're perfect, and you came into this world perfect, and you just have to be who and what you are. Don't be afraid to be you. Alright? Because if we didn't have people who are themselves, we wouldn't be where we were today. We might be someplace different on string. I know string theory is hard, but you know, right now this is where we are, and we wouldn't be exactly where we are today without everyone who is exactly themselves. Alright, so Paul Revere's Ride. Listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere. On the 18th of April and the 75th, hardly a man is now alive who remembers that famous day and year. So, the 18th of April in 75. I wonder if this is 1975 or 1875. He said to his friend in the British March, it's 19. By land or sea, from the town tonight, hang the lantern aloft in the Belfire arch. On the north church tower of the signal lights, one by the land and two by the sea. And I on the opposite shore will be, ready to ride and spread the alarm through every Middlesex village and farm, for the country folk to be up to arm. Then he said good night, and with muffled oar silently rowed to the Charlestown shore. Just as the moon rose over the bay, was singing wide in the morning's lay, the sunset British man of war, the phantom ship with each mast and spar across the moon like a prison bar, and the huge black hulk that was manifest by its own reflection in the tide. Meanwhile his friend thought a lie in street, wanders and watches with eager ears, till the silence around him he hears the muss of men and the barrack door, and the measures tread of the gladesters marching down to their boats on the shore. And then he climbed to the tower of the Old North Church by the wood stairs with stealthy tread to the Belfire chamber overhead, and started the pigeons from their perch on the sombre rafts that rode him, made masses and moving shapes of shade by the trembling ladder, steep and tall, to the highest window in the wall. When he paused to listen and look down a moment on the rafts of the town, and the moonlight flowing over all, beneath the churchyard lie the dead, and their night encampment on the hill, wrapped in silence so deep and still that he could hear, like a stilted tread, the watchful night wind as it went creeping along from tent to tent, and seeming to whisper, all is well. A moment only he feels the spell of the peace of the hour and the secret dread of the lonely Belfire and the dead. But suddenly all the thoughts are bent on a shady something far away, where the river wanders to meet the bay, a line of black and bands and floats on the rising tide like bridges of boats. Meanwhile, impatient to mount and ride, booted and soaked, and the heavy stride, on the opposite shore watched Paul Revere, and now patted his horse, said, now gazed at the landscape far and near, now important stomped the earth, and turned the tightened his saddle girth. But mostly he watched with eager search the Belfire tower on the old night church, as it rose above the graves on the hill, lonely the spectacle, and somber and still. And lo, as he looks at the Belfire high, a gleaming and then a gleam of light, he springs to the saddle and bridle he turns, but lingers and gazes till full on his sight a second lamp in the Belfire burns. A hurry of hooves in the village starts, a shape of the moonlit, a buck in the dark. and beneath, for the pebbles in passing spark, strike out the steed, flying fearless and fleet. That was all, and yet through the gloom of the light it faded as a nation was riding the night, and the spark struck out by the steed in his flight kindled the land into flaming with its heat. He has left the village and mounted the steep, and beneath him, tranquil and broad and deep, it is mystic meeting the ocean tides, and under the alders that skirt its edges, now soft on the sand, and now loud on the ledge, is heard the trump of his steed and his rides. It is 12 by the village clock when he crosses the bridge into Medford town. Medford town, and heard the crowing of the clock and the barking of the farmer's dogs, and felt the damp of the river fog that rises after the sun goes down. It was 1 by the village clock as he galloped into Lexington, and saw the glided, weathered cock swim in the moonlight as he passed, and the meeting house windows, bleak and bare, gaze at him with spectacled glare, as if they already stood aghast at the bloody work they would look upon. It was 2 by the village clock when he came to the bridge in Concord town. He heard the bleating of the flock and the twittering birds amongst the trees. He felt the breath of the morning breeze blowing over the meadows brown, and one was safe and asleep in his bed who at the bridge would be first to fall, who that day would be lying dead, pierced by the British musket ball. You know the rest in the books you have read, how the British regulators fired and fled, how the farmers gave them ball for ball from behind each fence and farmyard wall, chasing the redcoats down the lane, then across the fields, and emerge again under the trees at the turn of the road, and only pausing to fire and load. So through the night rode Paul Revere, and so thought the night was his cry of alarm to every Middlesex village and farm, a cry for defense and not of fear. A voice of the darkness, a knock at the door, a word that shall echo forevermore. For borne on the night wind of the past, through all our history, to the last, in the hour of darkness and peril and need, the people who awaken and listen to hear the hurling hoof beat of the steed and the moonlit message of Paul Revere. Alright, baby, we're gonna start a new one tomorrow. Karina, baby, I love you so much, honey, and I miss you so much. You know that? I think about you every single day. Constantly. I'm constantly thinking about you. I'm wondering if you're okay. Constantly pray for you. I just miss you. I just miss you so very, 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 very much. I just miss you. And I love you so very, 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 very much. You know that? I hope that whatever you're doing today, you're having the best day ever. Because I used to tell you that all the time. We used to go someplace, or you'd just be waking up, and I'd go, Karina, baby, what'd you dream about? And after I heard about your dream, I'd go, do you know what today is? And you go, no, mama. Because today is the best day ever. And you go, why, mama? I go, because you're in it. Today is still the best day ever because you're in it. Be a part of your day. Love your day. Love yourself. Love other people around you. Love, seen, and accepted, right? That's what we go by. We want to make people feel loved, seen, and accepted whenever they're with us. And it's because this life is so short. This life is so short. And it's okay to check in with yourself and be like, how am I doing today? And if you're not doing okay today, that's okay. Tomorrow's going to be a new day. and then the next day, and the next day. Sometimes you just have to give things time. It's okay to give everything time and to have to wait for things, because patience is a virtue, and sometimes we don't get exactly what we want exactly when we want it. If I got what I wanted, none of this would have ever happened, and I'd be with you every single second of every single day, and we'd be going out places and doing things and playing with Play-Doh and doing paint and doing all the things that we used to do. Okay, and doing school every day, because school is one of the most important things that we could be doing every day. Your brain growth is so important. Making new neurons and dendrites, making new wrinkles in your brain is so important. I love you so much, honey. Let's do we sit and watch the rain as it falls from the sky, and we are glad to be inside where it is warm and dry. Oh yes, I do love the rain. It keeps the earth so clean and helps the pretty flowers grow from the mountains to the streams. Yesterday and today we got sleet. It's just sleeting outside. The entire ground is ice. It's all ice. I don't know if it's all ice where you are right now, but I hope that if it is, that you're staying inside today and that you're keeping warm and that you're reading books and that you're learning and that you're doing good things, baby. That you're practicing your spelling and that you're practicing, you know, what atoms are and cells are and the periodic table of elements and what a compass rose is and how to use the map, the puzzle piece games, you know, stuff like that. I hope that you're doing fun things today, even though it might be slick and just ice outside. It's just a sheet of ice where I'm at. And I got to go outside today and help with the cows. I got to milk the cows and help with stuff in the stall and stuff like that, and help with the stuff that lives around here, right? Everything is needing care and time and attention, right? And so I walked outside today and it's just a sheet of ice, and I even fell on the ice a little bit because I'm slipping and sliding on the ice, right? No big deal. It's just icy. I love you though. Let's do oh say oh playmates, come out and play with me, and bring your dollies three, climb up my apple tree, shout down my rainbow, slide down my cellar door, and we'll be jolly friends forevermore, more. It was a sunny day, she could not go out to play. She said with tearful eyes, my dolly's got the flu. Boo hoo 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 hoo. I ain't got no rainbow, I ain't got no cellar door, but we'll be jolly friends forevermore, more. I love you, baby. Lila Tove, and good night to you. Lila Tove, may your dreams come true. We sing Lila Tove, may Israel protect you throughout the night until we reach the morning light. I love you, I miss you, and I can't wait to see you. I hope that you're having a good day, baby. Like Papa used to always say, Mama's Papa's son, Papa's Mama's moon, and you are definitely our rainbow baby, and we both love you. I love you so much, honey.